Hey everyone, today I just got this hydroelectric generator in the mail. I'm going to find some way to put this alternator onto a culvert camp with this thing down in the water. I suppose this thing is waterproof since it's so close. I hope it is. You see, it's actually meant to be a windmill, it appears. And this bolt on the end of it is not required unless you're using it as some sort of windmill. It came with this really high quality turbine. Just needed a few Allen bolts, a couple Allen bolts in there to hold it onto the shaft. And I bought this solar charge regulator, which can do 12 or 24 volts. And this thing here is rated at 24 volts. So this is going to allow us to charge our cameras and run all the camera lights inside the culvert shelter without having all the power banks this time. And we're also going to try to have a small running water system in there. All right, everyone, that towel is just there so I wouldn't scratch up this new hydro generator, which was surprisingly expensive. So I got 2 drills in there. I have a bunch of screws, wire caps, some wire, strippers, other things I think I might need inside this bucket. This is going to be sticking off of the platform with the generator on it, and then I brought some wire because obviously the wires that came with are not going to be long enough. And I even have a tiny little USB pump, which is low voltage. I'm hoping I can actually make a little sink in there out of a funnel. So once I get there on scene, I am going to set all this up. I'm going to, when there's no cars coming, I'm just going to park above the culvert, get everything down there, work on this throughout the day, and as soon as it gets dark, I'll move all my bedding in there and sleep. You know, people in the past have thought it was suspicious, me going in pipes, and they have called the cops on me. The cops surprisingly have never made me leave. They never even cared, but it's just an inconvenience I don't want to deal with. All right, everyone, now that I'm in the car, it is like 65 outside. This road is a bit soft. The snow looks like it's just about done for the year in my area, just a little bit in the woods. Now, where we're going today, last week had about 2 feet of snow. And with this weather, I expect it to be melting, and that's why I'm choosing a day like this. I want the water to be a little bit higher in the culvert, but when we're sleeping, it'll be on the downfall because it'll be getting colder. Yeah, I can't go too fast on this road or it's trying to pull me off where it's slippery. All right, everyone, so we are inside the exact same culvert pipe as we camped in last year, except there is a lot more water today because today it is 60 degrees here in Maine and a lot of the snowpack is melting. But tonight, it'll be back below freezing, so when we're actually sleeping in here, the water will be receding and not going up. I would definitely not want to go to sleep in here while the water's rising. Definitely not. But as soon as it starts getting dim out, right now it's about noon, this will start receding once the sun starts going down, which is a good thing. Now, I chose a day like this on purpose when I knew it would be flowing a bit more. The reason is, last time I camped in here, there was only about 1 inch of water going through. Today, it's actually hard to get in here without flooding my normal boots. I was worried today that the hydro generator might not be able to work if there wasn't enough flow. Since when the thing came in the mail, it was actually a bit heavier and bigger than I expected. So on the exiting end here, because I don't know if that thing in the water is going to be flipping up, you know, spitting water and stuff, so it's going to be on the exiting end where the water's a little bit faster. This is going to be screwed to the bottom of the platform sticking out with the generator on it. Now you see it doesn't look like nearly as much water here. That's because as the water gets further down the pipe, it's moving faster. We will take a walk down there later, because last year there was a lot of black widows. We'll see about this year. So if the water did get a little deeper, all we really had to do is move the shelter a little bit further down the pipe. There is certainly not much snow left in the woods after this warm day. All right, we already got a few things into the pipe. Really good flow of water today. All right, everyone, so we got it. So this thing is actually making power now. Take a look at this. When I spin this with my hand, we're actually getting it to do power. I had to reconnect these here. They're just in there with gravity, just touching. These screws, there's something wrong with them. I don't know what it is. I got it to work in the house yesterday. The power is supposed to be going in here. This is supposed to be feeding a battery, and this is supposed to be the load. So I just have it feeding in the battery now because I can't get these two to work. It was working in the house yesterday, but that's what my hiccup was. It's not accepting power, but through the battery, that'll be fine since we're not using it to charge an auxiliary battery today. I have these two USB plugs, and that's all we need to charge up the camera and charge up our lights. What I have plugged into it now is a tiny little pump that I'm gonna have down in the water. When it's turned on, we'll have a tiny little sink right here. Just use that for doing dishes, rinsing out my cans and stuff from dinner. That's just about it. I just did that for fun. So this is actually making power. This is capable of making up to 24 volts, the same voltage as a car. So what that means is we could put a transformer in here and actually get wall voltage if I wanted to, but I'm just experimenting with it today. But at least it's making power. And when I spin this, the impeller right there actually does start moving. Watch. See that? When I spin this with my hand, it starts moving. So that means it will be able to pump water, especially when this thing is moving super fast down here. Let me show you. I got these 3 screws here. I'm going to screw it down to the deck. Look at that. It starts spinning like crazy. But because it splashes so much, I need to go get my wall. What I'm going to be using as a wall is a sun visor for the windshield of a car. And because we're at an angle, it shouldn't come in here. It should just dribble right back off. We'll go get that. All right, everyone, we finally got this thing working properly. And I put this guard over it, and it stopped it from splashing up. Awesome. All right, I just spent hours driving to the store and back, and this is all I could find without ordering it online. I could not get another regulator without or with the USBs, so I think this is basically useless because of that. So I found this, which I'm going to use this attachment here, and then I can use my car charger for some USBs, assuming I can use this as the battery and not the load. I don't know why they didn't allow me to put this on the end of it without a battery. I'm hoping this thing even works without having a battery. The other one was working just fine without a battery. That's just a bunch of wire. I might have a lot of things to return. This is a $70 machine. The last one that's now broken for some reason was $20. As you see, there's still a little bit of snow out there in the woods, but really not that much. I'm sorry to tell you, everyone, it's now 5 o'clock at night, and I have tried everything in my power to get this thing to work properly, but we're gonna have to give up on it for today. Both of those devices I bought at Harbor Freight are not going to work. They're not the right thing. So that hydro generator I bought about a month ago on eBay, and that thing is working awesome. That's not the problem. It is the power regulator. Let me bring you in here and show you what we're doing. So, doing a dry run at my house, it worked out all right. I had it in the basement at my house. I had it all together. I was spinning the turbine with my hand. It was connected to my original power regulator right here. I had it in the battery, or I had it right here where the solar panel is supposed to lead into. This thing was turning on, telling me about 11 volts or so, working pretty well. This is for where the battery's supposed to be. It can keep a battery charged, so when it's dark outside, you still have power. Now this thing last night, I had my phone hooked into that while giving it a good tug with my hand, and I did get my phone to light up for just this brief second that it was working. But the issue today was I put the drill down to this to try to loosen these up, and I got that one loose, broke this one, and that must be why it's no longer taking a charge in there. But if I move them over as if it was a battery, very briefly, it did tell me that there was, it's not doing anything now, but it was reading as a battery, telling me what it was coming out of here. But as of now, it is not working. That's kind of a disappointment. But at a different date, I will give this a try. I'm gonna buy an, oh, you saw that? Did you just see it light up for a second? I know the screen just said something for a brief second. I don't know if this thing's busted or not, but I just ordered an identical one of those, and I bought a similar one. Yeah, this isn't functioning properly. It's not the generator's fault at all, but I am gonna try reusing this generator actually. Have you guys ever seen my miniature dam I built in my property? Well, next to my property on the little stream. I originally built that so I could have a little reservoir. It's a stream, it never really dries up, but sometimes it goes to such a small trickle that you'd run it dry if you tried pumping out of it. So I made a little dam so I could pump water out of it back before my actual well at the house was working. So I went a while just using that to bring into the house, you know, to flush the toilets and stuff, the stream water. That's why I built it, but that little dam, it failed this winter, and after taking a vote on my other channel, people want me to repair the dam. The options were repair it, completely remove it, or leave the ruins. And the majority of people want me to repair it. So from that little dam, it doesn't have the pressure or the speed like this of water going by to actually run it, this hydro generator. So what I'm gonna try doing is I'm gonna drill a little hole through the dam once I repair it, and I'm gonna have a PEX pipe coming out of the dam, probably 50 feet downstream. Elevation will create pressure, and again, that stream during the summer doesn't go a lot, but now during the spring it does have a good amount of flow, so maybe we'll actually be able to create a little bit of power with this generator from that. So this here is what I was going to use as a wall. There is a good amount of wind in here that pushed that thing over. This is stripped. That one came out. I got it. You see how the top, there's no threads, and it was sunken down into the wood, so that's why we couldn't get it out. All right, so this right here is for a windshield, and they actually work good for camps. Got a whole bunch of them at Walmart's discount shelf for $1 a piece, which is more than 90% off. So this thing is working fantastic. Barely even splashing since I put the shield over it. That is one really neat hydro generator. So here's what we got. Take it out of the water. There's our little turbine. And yeah, that thing, it's still working. Every piece of that thing got wet. Did anything get into the housing? Yep, there's water dripping out of there, but this will be allowed to dry at home. and I'll make sure it doesn't seize up. We'll try maybe making something with this on the hydro dam, something like that. We'll make like a little tiny roof, a little powerhouse a ways downstream from the dam so it has a good amount of pressure leading up to it. But we're gonna pull everything out of here. We're not gonna do this tonight, but I still wanted to show you the idea of this, and maybe we'll come back sometime. So this right here was the problem. I'm gonna replace this, and maybe we'll go again and do it some other time. And the water's going by here so fast. Look at this. It can almost push the water up the hose itself into my little sink and drain. Well, it's a good thing I didn't bring all my bedding and stuff in here and then have I myself realize this isn't gonna work well. So we're gonna get all this stuff back up to the road and we'll try again. Unfortunately, this location this is actually a 2-hour ride out here. We're in the middle of nowhere. It just took an hour to get to the store and buy those parts at Harbor Freight, another hour to get back. So we wasted the majority of the day. And in case you were wondering, this little hydro generator, I would love to link it in my description, but I bought it on eBay, and it was the only one the guy had. So it's not like I can get it from the same guy. I already showed you the sticker on there, and that's all I could show. It just says Windzilla. Not exactly sure where I would get another one, but this thing here costs about $250. This thing has a little kit. This was $20, so I just bought another $110 worth of stuff at Harbor Freight. That's getting returned immediately. None of it worked. So I tried. So before people start blaming me that I definitely ruined it here with the drill, first I had a little tiny screwdriver for going in here. Only one of these things was loose. It's as if they're glued or extremely over tightened. Could not get it with my little tiny screwdriver. So that's when I put my Phillips bit in there and just, this one, look at, I stripped it out so much because it would not move. That's why this thing is broken. It just wouldn't move. It stripped out the screws. It's not my fault that it was that tight. All right, before we get out of here, we gotta go down and see if there's any black widows in here. Now today I have to walk with my legs spread, walking on the edges of the water, because in the middle, the water's moving so fast, I will immediately flood my boots. So like last year, there was some black widows in here up on the ceiling, and I wanna see if we can find them. Look at all that iron oxidizing bacteria. You can just rub it off. Water's moving very fast. Last time we did this, after walking in here, the plunge pool was bright orange. Oh, we have a spider, but it's not a black widow. Let's keep looking. We have some spiders, but oh, well, we finally found one. Just found a black widow. There's another one, and I already flooded my boots. It already happened. The water's going really fast in here. Wow, look at the plunge pool. It's all completely filled with water down there. So it's kind of backing up. Here's a really big one. Stress cracks on the culvert. I don't even think I can get out there. The plunge pool's kind of backing up. So I'm gonna turn around and we'll walk over there, over the road, once I get everything out. This is very painful, walking like this. Walk out of here. right, we got that out. Now we just have the main piece of wood, and I'll pull all the stuff off of it, maybe. I'm hoping I can reuse the little hose and the electrical wire that's left on it. Well, here's the exiting end of the pipe, and you see, it can't get out of there that fast, so it's kind of coming back a little bit. It's just the extra flow. Last time we were in here was like December 2019. We even have a little bit of water coming out of there. That's just to relieve pressure behind the wall here. You see all the debris there? The river we're right next to backs up in here sometimes. Yeah, based on the debris here, at some point, this culvert was almost completely underwater. Not quite, but almost. Pretty interesting. There is still snow over there. Just a little bit. None on this side of the river, but that side, the trees block the sun. That's the only reason we're seeing that. But even though today's video is a failure, you know, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna try again. But I hope this culvert video concept was a interesting video anyways. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Everything's loaded back up in the truck and I'm ready to leave now. All right, everyone, so you saw a couple days ago I tried to do that hydroelectric thing, so now I'm back to the little stream next to my house, and we actually have more snow than that area with the culvert pipe, despite the last couple days being pretty warm out. I guess it's because I'm higher elevation. Despite driving north, I am like 1,000 feet higher in elevation here. But here is the tiny little dam. Doesn't really look like anything happened except all the soil washed out there. The soil has to be rebuilt. The earth part of it completely fell apart, the earthen dam. But I don't know if you can tell how deep that trench is. It eroded underneath it a whole ton. Let me show you. I can just stick my hand right underneath here. I'm not supposed to be able to. So that is not the worst fix. Definitely not. As soon as this is not flowing as much, what I'm gonna do is, because it's not looking like structural problems yet, you see there's a bunch of gravel I put there at one point. I'm gonna just pour more gravel in there, and debris and leaves will just get stuck to it, and that should seal it, I guess. Now you see right here, coming out of the dam, I have this discharge right here. Wow, what's on there? What are those little creatures? Anyways, this stream, believe it or not, sometimes flows so little in the summer, all of it can fit through this little pipe. So I'm gonna remove this piece of PEX pipe, and I wanna get like a 50-foot piece that will be able to go downstream a bit. And then that is where we'll have this thing blasting out through the hydro generator, and I'll maybe make a little roof out over it. Maybe we'll do that sometime when the weather's a bit warmer and the water's not so freezing where it's not the best to touch it. And this is mostly spring water coming out of the ground, so it stays pretty cold until we get into the middle of summer. So this will be an idea to revisit in a few months. Was this moles? I've never seen this so bad in my yard. I always have stuff like this when the snow melts in the spring. But is this mice doing it because it's right on the surface, or is this moles that just came out? It's really bad. Moles usually make little tunnels and lift it up, but these are like trenches, not tunnels, all over the yard.